Isshin, Two Heavens as One, is one of the most powerful combat commanders of all time. 1 red, 1 white, and 1 black for a 3/4 human samurai. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Absurdly broken on the face of it, Isshin has a dynamic design that breathes life into cards that would normally not be all that useful. This Isshin deck is $25, is an absolute blast to play, and will give you the chance to experience some cards you may have either never heard of or never had a reason to play. I'll also go over upgrades at the end of the video, and if these budget commander lists are something you want more of, be sure to tap our samurai like button Steven under the video. He's very honorable. If we're going to build Isshin and actually have him be both good and fun while on a budget, we need to take full advantage of his trigger. This means creating more creatures that can attack, therefore triggering more attack triggers. Going up the curve, we have Sky Knight Vanguard. Krenko Tin Street Kingpin not only creates creatures, but also buffs itself. Mardu Strike Leader can dash in if you like for some cheeky damage and a trigger. Kazul Tyrant of Cliffs, usually used in a more prison-style deck, fits great here as Isshin's trigger works on any attacking creature that causes one of your triggers to activate. So yes, this includes cards that care about opponents' attacks as well. So good. Then newcomer Athari Sun's Glory is perfect for this deck, doubling up on its own trigger, amassing experience counters, and providing great insurance for itself. For non-creature token production, you're going to love this. We're able to run Inquisitorial Rosette, Moonsilver Spear, and Seraphic Greatsword. Like, come on, this is a dream right here. All 3 of these cards are within our modest budget and very strong, doubling up on their triggers so easily. We're also including a Ganjo Uprising. More creatures means more triggers, and that's what we want. Doesn't even matter that we're giving our opponents creatures, to be honest. Plus, they're samurai. We'll talk about that more later on. With a partial focus on token production, including at least a few creatures with completely broken doubled up attack triggers is a must. Sky Hunter Strike Force has melee, which is perfect because melee is an attack trigger itself, and as long as you control Isshin, all other creatures you control have melee, so everything is going to be doubling up on +1/+1 melee triggers. What a snowball. Melee is so good. Let's include Adriana, Captain of the Guard, because again, there's nothing better than +1/+1 on top of already getting +1/+1. It's a good way to live. Then we have Tori Devenant, blanketing the team with double +1/+1, and coming with added benefits for your red and white creatures, either granting trample or untapping. It's nice utility there. Alright, this next section is where things start getting a little crazy. Let's mess with everything. Hammers of Morden comes with Myriad, so Hammers of Morden going everywhere. And then there's the second attack trigger for each opponent. Tap up to 1 target creature that player controls, and that triggers twice as well. What an absolute nightmare of a card to be an Isshin. You get to control combat so well, we're not even close to done either. Vengeful Ancestor gets to double goad and then double smacks people in the face when the goaded creatures attack. Is there a more perfect card for this deck? Then both Parasitic and Shining Impetus further mess with opponents, goading their creatures and doubling up on some toxic triggers, either creating 4-point life swings or giving you treasure tokens. Can I just say, it's totally ridiculous that Isshin's ability works on any creature attacking, not just your own. Like, whoever thought that up, you're an absolute boss. This deck has an aggressive feel to it, and a lot of the cards we're playing proactively. A card advantage is helpful here. Audacious Thief is simple but strong. Tectonic Giant has a couple great options to double up on, but the going 2 cards deep twice ability, that's a keeper right there. Atali Primal Storm is just an absolute bomb when Isshin is on the battlefield. Everyone already hates Atali's ability. Imagine getting it twice per attack, savage. And then arguably one of the most powerful cards in the deck, Elder Brain, forcing your opponent to wheel. You get all those cards, and then they have to do it again immediately, effectively giving you a ridiculous amount of card advantage while taking away like 10 cards in their whole deck. Love this commander so much. And for more card advantage, Search the Premises and Tempered in Solitude also make the cut, really covering our bases, accounting for attacks both from and towards us. Obviously, we can't ignore that Isshin is an awesome samurai, and while this isn't strictly a samurai tribal deck, there are some samurai that easily found their way in here. Selfless Samurai is here to provide protection in addition to being a nice lifelink granter for a soul samurai attacker. Narika Yamazaki makes great recursion for our 9 enchantments, many of which you'll see in a bit. Peerless Samurai is interesting, discounting your next spell by 2 mana from a lone samurai attack. Heiko Yamazaki recurs artifacts, we'll talk more about him later. And Asari Captain synergizes really well with the Ganjo Uprising and our other samurai, doubling up the power trigger and creating a real nasty samurai attacker. Now sure, we're doing cute stuff, triggering triggers on attack, but what if we had 2 attacks? Then we could trigger triggers on attack, then trigger triggers on attack again. Basically means we're going to trigger our triggers. One samurai I was hiding, Ryu Storm's Edge. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, untap it. If it's the first combat phase of the turn, there is an additional combat phase after this, but then with Isshin that doubles up 3 combat phases. I feel so alive right now. We're also running Hexplate Wallbreaker, perfect new card for this this deck and does exactly what we want. Imagine attacking with both Ryu and the Hexplate Wallbreaker. That's 5 combat steps. Yes, they stack. It's insane. Magic is a ridiculous game. I love it so much. And to dig the sword in even deeper, Response Resurgence is in here. We love combat steps. We love them so much. Isshin is my hero, honestly. Let's pivot and get low to the ground for a minute. Damage on attack is going to be extra oppressive thanks to Isshin. Hell Rider's damage trigger adds up real quick. Thundering Raiju spreads counters around your board then burns everyone. You won't make any friends this way, but you're a samurai, you'll be fine. Inferno Titan brings its classic burn trigger with it 6 damage fireballing the board on every attack. That's so nuts. Then Drakaseth comes over the top of all of them with its outrageous attack trigger spreading 14 damage around the table with Isshin on the battlefield. If you were wondering what kind of deck this was when you started watching the video, you should now have a good idea what we're trying to do here, but again, we're not done yet. It's about to get real dark. We don't like it when people attack us, but it's inevitable, right? We're doing all this annoying stuff. It's human nature that someone will want to just smack us right in the face, and thanks to Isshin's ability, we get to take advantage of that. Let's make it an absolute miserable experience, shall we? Emberwild Captain brings Monarch into the game and burns opponents based on the cards in their hand. Circle of Flame is going to shock all incoming ground creatures, and then we have the Quartet of Pain. Hissing Miasma, Blood Reckoning, Revenge of Ravens, and Campaign of Vengeance for whenever we decide to do the bloodletting ourselves. This is Isshin's final form right here. When you're staring down these enchantments and Isshin is on the battlefield, you really think attacking the Isshin player is the right move? No, I don't think so. We're surrounding ourselves with a barbed wire electrified fence. Can't attack us without bleeding heavily. And remember, when they get rid of our enchantments, because they will try, we have Norika Yamazaki right there to bring them back. It's so good. Creatures are going to die, that's just how this game works. Rakshasa Debaser and Sun Titan are both excellent recursion machines, just in different ways. The Debaser prefers to steal things twice, while Sun Titan can bring back a ton of our creatures or enchantments or artifacts. Both are excellent and perfect for this deck. I didn't know where else to put these 2 cards in the video because they are so absurdly aggressive and angry they didn't really fit anywhere else. Coastline Marauders and Argentum Armor. The Marauders is going to be a 20 power trampler when it attacks, and the stupid thing can encore. You might just win the game off the back of a double triggered Coastline Marauders. It's bananas. Then Argentum Armor is so simple it hurts. Gives a giant power and toughness boost to whatever you equip it on, and then on attack you destroy 2 permanents. Like, that's just broken. If you get a single attack off with the Argentum Armor equipped and Isshin on the battlefield, just bathe in the glory and value. Savor that moment because it's a moment that provides so much satisfaction. It's unlikely to be repeated again unless, of course, you also find a way to get multiple combat steps. Oh, this deck is so gross. Some of the cards in this deck are quite expensive, so Captain Lannery Storm and Hoarding Ogre make synergistic ramp additions, creating a truly hilarious amount of treasure tokens over a short period of time. And then we have Triumphant Adventure, mainly because I love venturing into dungeons. It's like free value. And this little idiot does it twice per attack with Isshin, and it attacks with Death Touch and First Strike, so you're probably getting that trigger safely many times over. Even though this deck is $25, don't let that price fool you. We're here to both have fun and win games. We're running a solid targeted removal suite of Chaos, Warp, Fracture, Mortify, and Terminate. A lot of what we do is influenced heavily by what's happening on the battlefield, especially the creature situation. Having options to deal with the biggest threats to make room for our triggers is really important when trying to run this deck smoothly, and if things get a little out of hand, Crackling Doom and Mythos of Snap decks will assuredly help us out. Based on the cost of our individual creatures and the fact that we're running a 3-color deck with each color healthily represented, we need mana rocks, and luckily there are a number of good ones that fit into our budget. Arcane Signet, Boros Signet, Commander Sphere, Mardu Banner, Mindstone, and Orzhov Signet all make it in and give us exactly what we want. Also, thanks to Heiko Yamazaki's trigger, Commander Sphere, Mardu Banner, and Mindstone can create repeated value. It's a great little interaction there. Painful Truths and Read the Bones are great card advantage options. You'll always be casting Painful Truths for full value, so don't worry about that. Then Unbreakable Formation is one of the best budget insurance cards, and Swiftfoot Boots is going on Isshin immediately forever without ever coming off ever. On to lands, then upgrades. Rogue's Passage is a great way to get the triggers you want without risking your best samurai in combat, and Path of Ancestry is solid fixing that'll let you scry a decent amount of the time. We've got Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, and Nomad Outpost for some all-encompassing mana options, then more specific lands in the bounces with Boros Garrison, Orzhov Basilica, and Rakdos Carnarium. We're able to run Temples of Malice, Silence, and Plenty, along with a spattering of other budget dual lands, Bloodfell Caves, Caves of Koyo, Sacred Peak, Scoured Barrens, Smoldering Marsh, and Windscarred Crag. These are all joined by Evolving Wilds, Myriad Landscape, and Terramorphic Expanse to search for our 7 mountains, 5 plains, and 4 swamps. Isshin is a truly busted commander, and I guarantee you will find enjoyment building this deck. He's just way too fun not to enjoy playing, and for $25, you will get more than your money's worth. This is probably the best super budget deck I've built in terms of fun and power versus cost. If you've ever even considered playing Isshin, build this deck, it's worth a shot. Now, upgrades. Here's the thing. The deck is so fun, and you can go in so many different directions. There are basically a million possible upgrades worth exploring and playing with depending on your budget, so instead of picking just a few of them, I think I'll just list out every single upgrade I had in mind regardless of cost and then let you figure it out. All right, here goes. Handwear Battlements plus Handwear Garrison, Fervent Charge, Marchesa's Decree, Cunning Rhetoric, Throw Investigation, Sword of the Animus, Strionic Resonator, Blade of Selves, Parhelion 2, Basri Ket, Myral Shield of Argive, Hero of Bladehold, Archon of Cruelty, Mishra Claimed by Gix plus Phyrexian Dragon Engine, Goldspan Dragon, Mangara the Diplomat, Brina the Demagogue, Aurelia the War Leader, Karazakar the Eye Tyrant, Adeline Resplendent Cathar, Grave Titan Godo Bandit Warlord, Commissar Severina Rain, Karlak Fury of Avernus, Leonin War Leader, Brutal Horde Chief, Delina Wild Mage, Blade of Selves, Lelia the Blade Reforged, Bruce Taro, Boorish Herder, Reconnaissance, Waves of Aggression, Relentless Assault, Dolmen Gate, Oathkeeper Takeno's Daisho, Helm of the Host, Flawless Maneuver, Generous Gift, Path to Exile, Ruinous Ultimatum, Damn, Den of the Bugbear, Bloodstained Mire, Marsh Flats, Arid Mesa, Sacred Foundry, Blood Crypt, Godless Shrine, Fetid Heath, Graven Cairns, Rugged Prairie, Savai Triome, Plateau Scrubland, Badlands, Bright Step Pathway, Bright Climb Pathway, Needle Verge Pathway. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.